Hello everybody, video here for you today. This is the retro no cap recap of the Curse of Oak Island season 7 episode 22 called Marks X the Spot. Originally aired April 21st, 2020. If you missed any of my recaps of previous and future episodes, there's a link to my Oak Island playlist in the upper right. Let's get into it. Previously on the Curse of Oak Island, people have been looking for an incredible treasure for 229 years. In the money pit, old timbers keep being brought up by the hammer grab from the borehole at location RF1, so named by Rick to honor the Restall family. Rick and Marty help transfer them from the dump area into a bulldozer's bucket. They are putting the older looking ones off to the side so they can be dated using dendrochronology. In addition to the timbers, the hammer grab also brought up this pickaxe. One of the timbers appears to be marked with Roman numerals like the U-shaped structure in Smith's Cove, which was dated to 1769, 26 years before the discovery of the money pit. Geologist Terry Matheson spots more timbers with Roman numerals several hammer grabs later. This is how the timbers would fit together with the dowel inserted into a hole on a base timber, with the matching Roman numerals on the inside next to the connection part. Gary Metal detects this crowbar or prying tool in the last hammer grab spoils of the evening, which were brought up from 120 feet underground. Alex and Craig take it to Carmen Legg the next day for his expert opinion on it. Carmen notices a wear mark on the curved part, which would indicate a lantern or pulley would be hung on it, and says the other end is tapered, which would be driven into a wall. He further says it would be for a cave or rock wall and not be driven into wood. The Carmen dating is 1700s. Carmen says this is a rock hammer, not a pickaxe, and would be used for working in a cave, shaft, or tunnel. It was meant to have a powerful impact from a short swing. The Carmen dating goes all the way back to the Middle Ages. On the RF1 spoils wash table, Jack finds a piece of rope brought up from the 120-foot level. And then what he first thinks is hair, and then says maybe coconut fiber. Narrator Robert Clotworthy reminds us that coconuts are not indigenous to North America, and that coconut fiber was found in the original money pit shaft and also in massive amounts at Smith's Cove, providing a filtration system for the box trains. Dan Hinsky joins them at the wash table. Then Steve finds this piece of concrete. Mr. Clotworthy reminds us that the chapel vault is covered in a layer of concrete. Back in the money pit area, the RF1 spoils from 160 feet are still a lot of timber, including this one with a big nail in it. The next grab includes a metal shield, likely from the 1931 chapel shaft, dug more than 3 decades after the original Chapel Blair shaft by William Chappell and his son Melbourne. Obviously, the newer shaft wasn't successful. The pressure on the bottom caisson section goes up to 2,500 pounds per square inch, meaning what it was digging through was much harder than soil and wood, and broke one of the steel brackets that secure the oscillator to the crane. After a 3-hour repair job, they start again, but the caisson is being blocked by something at 181 feet underground. Vanessa Lucido, owner of Rock Equipment that is providing the oscillator and crew, has the unconventional idea to rest the hammer grab at the bottom of the caisson in hopes that the extra tonnage will result in being able to cut through the blockage. The next day, Rick, Laird, and Charles go to Lot 25, site of the Samuel Ball homestead. Ball somehow went from a former slave to fighting for the English in the Revolutionary War to cabbage farmer to being one of the wealthiest men in Nova Scotia and eventually owned all of the darkened lots shown here. Ball arrived on Oak Island in 1786, 9 years before the discovery of the money pit, and some theorists believe he was involved in that as well, especially because his name is included in early documentation of the discovery. There's a link to my recap of the Samuel Ball episode of the new series Tales from Oak Island in the upper right. Based on evidence of underground structures revealed by ground-penetrating radar, Laird was able to get a permit for an excavation. Conservative Kelly Barassa, along with Jack and Gary, also join them, and Kelly soon uncovers a hinge and then a corner bracket, both possibly from a chest. Later in the swamp, Jack, Ian, and Billy are continuing the excavation there. This is a good example of the editing liberties that are taken. The narrator specifically said later and mentioned the season ending and the harsh North Atlantic winters, etc. But you can see here it's nice and sunny and everyone is wearing short sleeve shirts. Ian has uncovered what he calls an in situ woody layer in one of the outer boundaries of the paved area and will take samples to carbon date. He says the wood is trees that were growing in the soil and then they were killed when the area was manipulated into a swamp. Ian also says the wood is so well preserved he may be able to positively identify it as well. Back on lot 25, Laird shows Jack the ground penetrating radar data that shows a tunnel going into the underground structure that Jack is digging out. Jack soon uncovers a cavity with stacked stones on top of it. He is given the go-ahead by Laird to remove the top stones, and Gary says that's either a tunnel or a vault. The next day, more of it is excavated, and Laird says that it's not fully cleared out, but a snake goes easily to the Ball Foundation side of it, which was also excavated. They've arranged for a pipe inspection camera to be run into the tunnel so they can see what's going on in there. From the Ball Foundation, the camera reveals a partial blockage in the tunnel. They try the other way from the structure Jack uncovered, and Marty remarks how smooth the ceiling is. That way is eventually blocked too, maybe the same blockage from the other side. The sun is already set, so the team decides to call it a day and decide where to go from here. I'll be continuing retro no-cap recaps of Season 7 and 8, while also recapping the new Season 12 episodes late Tuesday nights as they air. All the other episodes are in my Oak Island playlist. There are no new Oak Island shows on New Year's Eve 2024. I'm also doing retro no-cap recaps of Season 2 through 4 of The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch as I have time. Seasons 1 and 5 are all done and are in the Skinwalker Ranch playlist. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. Sempre avanti. Happy New Year to all.